Welcome back. President Trump took Friday's cabinet meeting to Camp David, where he told reporters of a plan to resume military strikes on Iran.
U.S. officials confirming strikes could happen as soon as this weekend if progress isn't made on the diplomatic front.
Madeline Rivera joins us now with the latest. Good morning, Maddie.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was blunt about this. She says Iran will continue to pay until they come to the table in what President Trump deems a meaningful way. So the president is leaning towards striking Iran until they capitulate.
We'll be hitting it very hard. And at some point they're going to say, we just can't take it anymore.
Of course, the president authorized the new attack plan as he held a cabinet meeting at Camp David yesterday. For Axios, the president is considering energy and infrastructure facilities as potential targets. Israel could also join in on the attacks for the first time in many weeks, but the president has not made a final decision. And any immediate progress on the diplomatic front could convince him to change his mind. The president, though, has cast Iran as dishonorable to deal with, underscoring his frustrations with the negotiations. Still, he maintains the U.S. has been able to degrade the regime's nuclear, missile, and drone capabilities. Iran has remained defiant, and Iranian security officials tell state media they are fully prepared to retaliate against the U.S. and Israel if critical infrastructure are hit. Charlie, Lara, and Griff.
With that, let's bring in Behnam Ben Taleblu, Iran Program Senior Director and Senior Fellow for the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Big picture, where do you think things stand right now between President Trump and Iran?
The president still signaling his interest in a diplomatic option, but also his frustration with the leadership of the Islamic Republic. And certainly with a regime like this, which is fundamentally anti-American, Islamist, and revolutionary to the core, this is a regime that believes its survival is more tied to escalation than engagement. And therefore, I think despite this diplomatic offer by the president, we're more likely to see military action in the coming weeks.
Well, the president obviously is the unique person for this moment, and he also has a unique Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who sits down with me tonight at 9 p.m. for an exclusive interview.
I don't think the Iranian regime has ever faced a president like President Trump, which is someone that actually takes action. You know, they got used to for 20 or 30 years, not just the U.S., but the broader world, allowing them to get away with things like lying, breaking deals, tricking people into agreements and so forth.
The third is markets, and particularly oil markets. And the last one is the political element, midterms. And that's why the Islamic Republic, despite being weaker, is still escalating, because they're trying to have those 4 M's constrain this president.
Behnam, is that this is the first president in an election year willing to stand up to Iran while also demonstrating remarkable patience, keeping the door open for negotiations. And it seems the fundamental problem is determining who is in charge. When you look at Iran's leadership and who's left right now, obviously Mojtaba Khamenei is the supreme leader. But running the IRGC is Brigadier General Ahmad Vahidi. So we see at the negotiating table the foreign minister, Arachi, and the parliament speaker, Ghalibaf, but it is clearly Ahmad Vahidi who is continuing to launch missiles at Jordan, at Saudi Arabia, at Kuwait, and not stopping. Is that Vahidi was the first commander of the Quds Force under the previous leader, Ali Khamenei, and now.
But despite that factionalism, there is a through line through this leadership, and that through line is these are men mostly in their 50s and 60s, who are all Islamists, who are all supporters of this regime despite their different political differences. And their formative moment in life was the Iran-Iraq War, the 1980 to 1988 Iran-Iraq War. That was the longest conventional war of the 20th century, for example, is a veteran of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the same corps that now Ahmad Vahidi leads. So this is a highly militarized regime. The one legacy of the former supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, is that he has institutionalized that terror organization's dominance across every single organ of that country, political, security, military, economic, you name it. So it is an IRGC military-led regime in the past and present, and as long as there's an Islamic Republic, it will be in the future.